Well, here we are at Port Lympne Safari Park in Kent, where Fujifilm have invited me to come and try out the new GFX 100S Mark II and the new 500mm 5.6R LM OIS WR, which has been a fantastic experience. So I'm going to share a few of my thoughts and a summary of my first impressions of this camera gear for wildlife photography. First of all, the lens. 500mm is equivalent to 396mm on a full frame camera, so basically a 400mm lens. It weighs 1.375 kilograms, that's really light. The balance of the lens feels extremely good, with a lot of the weight down towards the bottom of the lens. And it's 245.5mm in length, so really small. It has a 95mm filter thread. It has new PRF and FLPC lens elements, which help it keep the size and weight down. The lens is weather sealed at 18 points, so great for using in wet weather. In fact, yesterday we photographed in the rain for quite a long time. Everything seems okay so far. The background rendering of this lens seems to be really nice and produces smooth transitions and nice separation from your subject. It's also compatible with the 1.4 times teleconverter, which I tried a little bit yesterday as well. So you have your usual limiter switch, the OIS switch, and your preset switch and the set button. You have an aperture ring on the lens, and it can lock at a custom function or auto as well. It can lock it in place. And of course it goes to 5.6 from f32. It's made from a magnesium die-cast construction, which enables it to be light, robust and very strong. You have an Arca Swiss compatible lens foot, which is excellent, and that slips off very easily and locks into place. You can adjust your lens foot with the dial here, and there's no clicks on the 90-degree points, but that's not a major thing. The lens barrel has loops for putting your toggles, if you have peak design toggles or other strap toggles, which makes it easier to carry rather than having a strap from the camera body. The lens hood itself locks into place with push button, and it has the usual filter access hatch and a nice rubber rim to the end of the lens hood, which protects it really very well. I really enjoyed using this lens for manual focus. It's very smooth and very easy to operate and slowly pull focus, especially for video or photographing small birds in between branches where the autofocus can't quite find it. What I've seen so far is the sharpness of this lens is superb and just what I expect really from a Fuji lens of this caliber. The optical image stabilizer in the lens has been very effective. So far the focus speed seems very good. Occasionally, if some subject suddenly appears in the foreground, like a lot of lenses, I had to help it just manually first, just to get it into the right zone, and then continue focusing from there. But I've been very impressed with it so far. So a few thoughts on the camera itself, the GFX 100S Mark II. The body is basically exactly the same as the original GFX 100S, which is a good thing in my opinion. It's a really small size for a medium format camera. It's only 883 grams and feels very nice in the hand. Great ergonomics. The viewfinder has a 5.76 million dot EVF. The body itself has a lovely bitumen finish, that's what they call it. And it's like a lovely leather pattern. I really like that finish, same as they put on the flagship GFX 100 version 2. This camera is capable of 7 frames per second, which is really handy for wildlife. Not all wildlife is super fast, high speed, and I think especially in an environment like safari or this safari park, a lot of the animals are not moving super fast. So you don't have to have crazy frames per second a lot of the time. And 7 frames per second for me has been really great throughout the day yesterday. The sensor is a 100 megapixel sensor as before, but it has a new design. It has new micro lenses enabling the phase detect focus to be more effective in the edges and corners. The stabilized sensor in the camera body enables you to use GFX lenses up to 8 stops, which is fantastic. It's been really effective in video yesterday when I was doing some video clips. Very impressive indeed. The new design sensor enables this camera to have a base ISO of 80 for stills and 100 ISO for video. Of course, the new camera body comes with the new Fujifilm simulation Reala Ace, so you can shoot 16-bit files and the Fuji Log 2 as well. It shoots video up to 30p on 4K. The camera has 2 SD UHS 2 slots, so you can have your backups. It has the new X Processor 5 in the camera body and enables this to also use subject detect and animal eye detect, bird detect, all of those usual ones. Having subject detect has been really good. Yesterday we were shooting a lot of mammals, and I found it pretty effective, surprisingly good for a big, larger format camera. But also I was seeing some UK birds flying around the whole site and was able to grab a few shots. So that was an excellent opportunity to try out on small birds as well, which it did really well, surprised me actually. I haven't tried birds in flight of course yet, but time will tell whether it's capable of that or not. That'd be very interesting to see if it is. The combined weight of the camera and the lens is 2.258 kilograms, which is an exceptionally light system for medium format and wildlife photography. And the size is really very compact for what it is as well. It fits quite well into my Mindshift backlight rucksack, which is only an 18-litre one, so it slots into there pretty nicely. So that's a really good selling point for those who want to try out the GFX system for wildlife photography. It's not going to really weigh you down. Is 7 frames a second enough? Well, also you have the option of the GFX 100 version 2, which I'd love to try with this lens as well, which is 9 frames a second. And I think truly for a lot of wildlife photography you don't need like 40 frames per second or even 120 frames a second for a lot of it. Some of it you might do, but a lot of wildlife is actually sometimes fairly static and not always moving at 100 miles per hour plus. So for me, this opens up a new arena for especially animals and their environment, high resolution, high quality images, and also opens up the door for many people to try out a medium format system for wildlife photography. And the low light ability of these sensors is extremely good. So you can make up for not having a 2.8 or f4 lens a lot of the time by relying on higher ISOs. And I think it's for those people who really want to try and produce nice prints as well. Obviously the resolution of this sensor is incredible and enables you to produce some lovely exhibition large format prints. Well, for me personally, I would love this to run alongside my Fuji X-H2S. I have one system slightly smaller for high speed wildlife action, and one super high resolution, high quality system to probably use about 80% of my wildlife photography. Well, I want to thank Fujifilm for inviting me out to this wonderful place, this Port Lympne Safari Park, and to use some incredibly powerful camera gear, GFX 100S Mark II and the 500mm lens, which really has opened up the door for wildlife photography into medium format, and a very exciting prospect indeed it is. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you again soon. God bless. Bye bye.